there was a time when the number of bison roaming the North American continent outnumbered the human population.
That was before a devastating slaughter during the 1870s nearly wiped them out. In a special report this evening, KXAN's Jim Swift tells us how people are now trying to save the bison from extinction and how they're using your animals to do it.
In the Texas Panhandle, a sun-kissed prairie, home to a herd of bison, can give way to a blue norther that will chill your blood. Then, just one moonlit night later, the clouds can disappear and leave a clear shot for the sun to once again warm the ground. Through it all, the official Texas State Buffalo Herd grazes unfazed, because this is, and always has been, the animal's home, even when the herd nearly vanished.
There's several reasons why the decimation of the species happened. The most frequent that you hear talked about is the Native Americans. The U.S. Army decided that if we take away their food, we would take away their will to fight. But I think probably, in my opinion, the biggest reason was the Industrial Revolution. Back east, you'd have these big factories with all of these machines, and they needed belts to run these machines. They found out that bison leather, bison hide, made very good belts. So the hide market began, and that's really what got this thing going. Millions of bison killed each year just for hides.
In just a few years, the bison population in North America dropped from as many as 60 million animals to just over 500. That's when famed Texas cattle rancher Charles Goodnight, goosed into action, some say, by his wife, Mary Ann, started rounding up weaned calves left for dead by the hunters to create his own private herd.
He had the herd up to about 250 head was the largest he had it. But after his death, they basically escaped, and they were basically forgotten about.
Then, in the mid-1990s, the then executive director of Texas Parks and Wildlife was given the opportunity to find a few dozen surviving bison on a huge panhandle ranch and move them to Caprock Canyons State Park.
So we took our little Parks and Wildlife plane, and all of a sudden we came up over a rise, and they were below us. And the plane disturbed them, so they started running, and I mean, it was a stunning sight.
A 300-acre enclosure for the bison was later expanded to 1,000 acres. Within a year, the park superintendent wants to see the animals roaming over all 14,000 acres of the park's land area. That explains why at park headquarters, when they hand out information to people, they include a map and stapled to it a not too subtle warning about buffalo.
We have had 0 instances of bison just attacking people. It just doesn't happen. The only problems we've ever had are people not respecting the bison.
At the state park, scientists work to preserve the original DNA of the Charles Goodnight animals and to grow the herd.
People of Texas own them. They're your bison, you know, and this is where you get to come see them.
So the idea is that although sun-ups and sundowns may come and go across the great southern plains, the sun will never set on the Texas State Buffalo Herd. In the Texas Panhandle, Jim Swift, KXAN News.